Let me start by acknowledging the presence of African Union Commission Director of Gender, Women and Youth Directorate, my dear sister Nonkululeko Prudence. Also greetings to you, Executive Director of the African Leadership Foundation, Mr. Olumide Ajayi, all the guests that are joining, the youth advocates and the stakeholders that are with us today. It's with great pleasure and it's with great enthusiasm that we're meeting today for the official launch of the African Youth Network of Unpaid Care and Domestic Work Advocates. We are all here today because we care about gender equality and women's empowerment. We're also here because we understand how critical the issue of unpaid care and domestic work is. Oxfam, as you know, takes the subject of women and care work very seriously, and we're grateful to partner with the Africa Leadership Foundation in the fruitful We Care project. Our collective efforts are a humble contribution to addressing this vital issue. But these efforts must grow, and they should involve various stakeholders, notably the active participation of young women and men, who can bring innovative ideas that will help bridge the gap, the gender gap in unpaid care work. The African Union Strategy for Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment, or JEWE, has been my side table book for many years. As you mentioned, I am a former staff of the African Union. And this JEWE strategy continues to guide my work as it provides a clear framework for all stakeholders with an interest in improving African women condition. Coming to the issue of UCDW, the JEWE strategy makes the relevant connection between this burden and the negative outcomes in the areas of early childhood development, education, and economic opportunities. We are also now more aware of the impact of unpaid care and domestic work on girls and women's physical and mental health, which is also one of the priorities of the African Union Commission. In 2019, Oxfam calculated that globally, women carry out 12.5 billion hours of unpaid care work every day. When valued at minimum wage, this would represent a contribution to the global economy of at least $10.8 trillion a year. And I think that Prudence Nonkululeko already mentioned this specific number. We also know that unpaid care work is distributed in a profoundly unfair manner, and that this perpetuates gender disparity and hinders the socio-economic development of our communities and nations. It's therefore imperative that we come together to challenge these norms. It's imperative that we advocate for change and that we promote shared responsibility in addressing unpaid care and domestic work. Since 2013, we as Oxfam have invested in transforming care economies through the Women's Economic Empowerment and Care Program, which is We Care, I referred to earlier. And this program is implemented in various parts of the world, but in Africa, it's implemented in Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. And we also have a regional and a global advocacy component. The journey of our youth engagement in this specific issue started in 2022 when our dear partner, the African Leadership Foundation, organized with us a virtual regional youth dialogue on unpaid care and domestic work and on positive masculinity. The dialogue clearly revealed gaps in understanding and advocating for policy change through working with the youth. This was followed by 2 regional dialogues this year on the role of the African youth in promoting shared responsibility to address unpaid care work. As Oxfam, we acknowledge the efforts made by other partners, including ActionAid, UN Women, Care International, just to mention a few. These institutions continue to challenge the inequalities in the care economy. The establishment of this network is a testament of the unwavering commitment of young women and women young women and men in Africa to drive positive change and advocate for gender equality. Through this network, we aim to amplify the voices of the youth advocates. We aim to share best practices, advocate for policies that champion shared responsibility, and provide also capacity building opportunities to empower our youth in leading the change towards a more just and inclusive society. Let me emphasize on the need to working with young men and boys. We think that their involvement is critical. In our experience as Oxfam, men are often very positive about sharing unpaid care work, particularly if they see other men doing it. Working with men as advocates and cultural or religious leaders has helped to cascade messages and has helped to provide positive examples which challenges existing perception of masculinity. Creating spaces for discussion has enabled young men and boys to reflect upon unpaid care roles and to commit to small and easy actions for changes in their own lives. I want to challenge all the young men here today to take it upon themselves to be the ambassadors of change, mobilizing other young men, changing the narrative on unpaid care work. I am thrilled to announce that the first troop of the Young Network gathers 57 passionate advocates from 50 organizations and institutions across 16 African countries. I can only urge you to continue expanding your presence in more countries and to work more closely with feminist organizations. Unpaid care work is a feminist issue, and we need to embrace this highly political dimension. The advocates are driving force behind the network proposed activity, which include conducting research, identifying advocacy efforts, holding capacity building workshops, developing toolkits, and advocating for policy changes at various levels. The launch of the African Youth Network of Unpaid Care and Domestic Work Advocates today signifies a turning point in our collective journey towards gender equality and women's empowerment in Africa. It is an opportunity for us to mobilize support, inspire and empower young people, facilitate collaboration, and secure commitments and support from stakeholders to advance the mission and goal of the network. As we embark on this transformative initiative, let us remember the words of Nelson Mandela, who said, "Young people are capable, when aroused, of bringing down the towers of oppression and raising the banners of freedom." Together, let us raise the banner of freedom and equality and work tirelessly to create a more just and inclusive society for all. So on this 21st day of the month of March 2024, as we celebrate Women's Month, I officially launched the African Youth Network of Unpaid Care and Domestic Work Advocates. Thank you all, and may our efforts today pave the way for a brighter, more equitable future for women and girls in Africa. Over to you.